Today, perfect. So today we are in a Q&A session. So I am going to describe a bit the program and what we do, of course, at IUM, because we are here to share information. But it is more, a kind of interaction session where you should ask questions. In fact, we are here. I am here as a professor and as a director of program. Rima is here as a student and Emmanuel as the admission process. So we can all answer the questions. So really, during those 30, 40 minutes we are going to spend together today, do not hesitate to use the Q&A session to ask questions. Emmanuel is going to monitor the Q&A session and will raise the questions when needed during the presentation. If it is needed right now, we will just interrupt me. Emmanuel, do not hesitate to interrupt or to ask if the question is for Rima, to ask Rima. Okay?
Absolutely. Don't hesitate to ask your questions.
Perfect. So I think we can start. We always start the presentation of IUM by going through the mission statement. The mission statement is a very important text which describe exactly what we are, what we do, and what we will try to, let's say, develop for your students. I'm going to go through it, but quickly, highlighting few keywords. You see they are in bold in the slide here. The first keyword is educate. IUM is an educational institution. We do research, but the research is here to support the pedagogy and the class content. We are not a primary research institution. We are primarily an educational institution. That means that our professors are here to teach and to to put the students at the center of the activity. The second one is that we are going to shape the profile of you students, of your son, if you are parents here, into what we think is needed for tomorrow. And one of the most important part of that is the responsibility. A responsible business leader of tomorrow from all over the world and to develop a global career includes concepts that are unavoidable for us, linked to values of Monaco, of course, meaning we speak about ethics, we speak about sustainability, we speak about accountability, trying to bring, the students from high school to, let's say, a professional profile. That's really what we do. We have some specific niche markets here. We are specialized in luxury management, in finance, in sport business management as well, and in hospitality. We are small. We are used to say that we are, at the size of the country. The country is the second smallest size in the world, and we are very small as well. We are as well very, very international as Monaco is. So studying in a super cross-international, cross-cultural environment means that you will have a classroom of 40 students that will face 25, 30 different nationalities. And when it goes to discussion about ethics, critical thinking, the vision of everybody is a bit different according to their roots, their culture, their background, and this is what stimulates. In fact, the discussion and the learning, the implicit learning, in fact, and prepares normally a bit better the students for an international career, being already aware of the other way of thinking of other people. We are very applied, so there is a theoretical background, of course, but we have as well a lot of experiential education, project-based, of course, teaching method, flipped class. Students are very active in class and they work in group a lot. And another very specific part of IUM is that we are really embedded in the territory of Monaco. And the Principality of Monaco may be seen as the palace, the prince, and the yacht, but in fact, behind the scene, it's a very, very international hub. There is more than 5,000 company in the 2 square kilometers, 50,000 commuters every day. So double the size of the people living in Monaco that comes to work in Monaco every day. So it's very dynamic. Those companies could be family offices, could be an international group, are visible here next door, in fact, and then we can easily contact them and have the students interacted with them. The research, as I mentioned, is here, to support the teaching. We have in the facilities here full-time faculties that are all researchers and published in Star and Rank Journal. But we have as well a bunch of practitioners, so around 30 researchers, but more than 100 practitioners that are adjunct faculty coming to teach in class, bringing in the classroom the real world, in fact, with the real figures, bringing their experience, their colleague, their client in the classroom, putting the students in front of the real people from the real life, making the student life maybe a bit more professional, let's say. Rima, you are here with us, so let's give you a bit the world, this multicultural environment and this connection to the professional world. Maybe you can share a few words about it.
Yes, sure. So really, IUM is very interesting place where different cultures meet. For example, I was born and grew up in Moscow, Russia, but I'm Armenian, and here I have so many friends from almost all over the world, from different cultures. And actually, this year we have even the subject which is called Managing Across Cultures, and we discover some interesting traditions, cultural backgrounds, features, and how we can implement this knowledge in our future career. So it's really interesting how communication and cultural things are established in IUM. IUM is a real family. It's notwithstanding from what country are you, but it's really interesting to study, to have friends here, to communicate with each other, because you can learn so many things, and which can be very beneficial for you, for your mentality, and etc.
Thank you, Rima. Yes, the teaching includes international example always. We are not focusing on the national or French examples. The law class is international law, and then every time we use an example, we are speaking about global companies, of course, which is very important.
That's what I really like.
Yeah. So we are part of the Omnes Group. Omnes Group is the bigger educational higher education institution in France. It's a group of 40,000 students, 27 schools in 16 different campuses. They have campuses in Paris, Barcelona, London, San Francisco, Geneva, Munich, to name few only. And those campuses are used by our students as the extension of IUM. So our students will be very welcomed in these other campuses during their second year when they do their exchange term abroad. What is good as well with the Omnes Group is that they don't own only business schools. They have engineering schools, they have geopolitical schools, they have communication schools, and you will see our specializations are linked to these specialties. So we are, across a bit constructing the knowledge thanks to their, specific area of expertise. To summarize a bit, so there is it's a family. Rima mentioned it and named it very well. So there is a real cooperative and collaborative learning here at IUM with a good balance between the faculty, the researcher, full-time faculty, and all these professionals coming to class. They teach a class, but they bring real example, and there is a lot of project, and some experiences. The multicultural learning is natural here, as part of the DNA of the institution. And it's explicit because we have some subject in class where we address it directly, but it is more an implicit learning that we have here. And we are asking the students to be quite proactive in their way of learning. There is asynchronous activities, so a bit of autonomous learning in order to prepare the students for the lifelong learning process. And as well, we would like the students, to be able to anticipate what is going to occur next year, what is going to occur within 2 years, what shall we do now in order to be prepared for the rest. So be actor of your studies. It's an important part of the educational philosophy here. And of course, the student is at the center of the attention. We have open doors, faculty office. So the open office hours are, for all professors. Students can come, in their office during specific hours. If they don't have class, if they have class, they can ask for an appointment. And there is, a duty for the professor to answer and welcome the students, whatever question they have. So that's quite important. Emmanuel, we have questions.
Yes, so actually I have one question about summer program. I think I'm typing the answer, but there's a bug, so I'm going to reply very quickly. We will talk about it just after the admission, but yes, you must be 18 years old minimum and registered to a first year bachelor program. We also have Geben who wants to talk. So sorry, Geben, but we have a limited time. Patrice has lessons just after, for example. We would like to hear you, but can you use the Q&A session, please? This would be the best option for us. And that's all for the moment. Thank you.
Thank you. Do not hesitate to ask questions for the Q&A. It is a Q&A session today, so we really need to exchange and to, answer your questions. So we will answer the questions for everybody. The institutions in general were created in 1986. So we are not far, slowly reaching our 40th birthday. We had our graduation ceremony Saturday. It was the 36th, I think, something like that. So we are slowly reaching the birthday. We have programs ranging from the bachelor directly post high school degree. So we start first year after the high school. We have master degree, we have an MBA, and we have a doctorate of business administrations. Our diploma are recognized by the Principality of Monaco, so recognized worldwide, and we have double accreditation, ACSB and AMBA. The human size of the institutions, 900 students, equally distributed between men and women. So this is a reasonable size for an educational institution. 70 nationality, very, very international. There is no dominating one. French are the first nationality, it's 20%. And then we have Italians, and the third nationality are Americans, for example, this year. So this is quite interesting. Of course, the only common denominator is English. All the classes are taught in English at IUM, of course. And we are used to say that Monaco is our campus because the building where we are located, you see the picture of the outside of the building here. This is the Stella building. It's really center town next to the station exit. So super practical for the students that are commuting by train, but it contains classroom mainly and the offices of the professors and the administration. So as soon as there is something to do outside, usually we are used to say that the 2 square kilometer of the country is the campus of our students. So we have 4,000 alumni all over the world, and the faculty I already mentioned it. So accredited ACSB since 2021. IUM accreditation, latest renewal was last year, and we are accredited since 2005. IMBA. To see a bit the league we are in, we are ranked 50, best MBA in the world. There is 5,000 MBA in the world, so we are in the top 100 MBA ranking of the Economist. So this is the top league, and we are ranked as well 55 in the CNN expansion MBA ranking as well. So we are in this particular league of ACSB accredited, AMBA accredited, so double accredited with the government recognition, and that gives the diploma a very high value on the market. So we are going to dig now into the programs in general. So for the institution, I'm done. Do we have general questions about the institutions?
Yes, Patrice, we have different questions. So, for example, as you mentioned earlier, how many students are there in the bachelor? So, to answer in the total bachelor, I think it's around 500, Patrice. But
Yeah,
per class is
more.
between, yes, per class, it's not more than 40 to 50 students. Even if we are growing, we want to keep, as Patrice said, this familiar atmosphere.
Yeah, we don't have amphitheater. In fact, we have only classrooms. And the biggest classroom is 60 something. So yeah, we have classrooms basically, and the courses are organized around classrooms.
Yes, and another question, how many CTS credits per year? It's 60, equivalent of 60, Patrice?
Yes, definitely. So we deliver our diploma in US credits. It's a good question because we are not used really to mention this particularity. So we deliver our diploma in US credits, which have its equivalent in ECTS, and in the visa recognitions, we have the equivalent in ECTS. So of course, the bachelor degree is 180 ECTS. We have as well the 240 ECTS credit bachelor, which is the equivalent of the American bachelor. And per year, it's 60 ECTS credits. So we are used to say 30 US credits, in fact, but it's the same.
Is it considered like a foreign bachelor for French people, Patrice, for French institution?
Definitely, yes. We are in Monaco. We deliver the program in English, in US credits. So there is nothing French here. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So the Bachelor in Business Administration is the first 3 year of studies. As you can see in the slide, we have 8 specializations that you can choose throughout the 3 years. Slowly, the concept is to converge. First year will be very general, very wide, building the foundations and the theoretical framework. And then slowly we will go towards a specialization where you will have most of your classes on the 3rd year before doing your last internship specialized in the field you choose. The Master of Sciences we have ranges around 5 main subjects. Luxury, we have 3. Finance, we have 3 as well, with 1 in apprenticeship. Sport business management, it's a master about how to manage either sport events, how to work in the sport governance, or how to work in the sport, factory and industry where they are creating the equipments. We have a master in international management with, innovation and entrepreneurship spirit. And we have a new master created this year called Sustainable and Innovation Management. There is a gap on the job market today. There is a lot of demand to go toward sustainability for big companies and for all the companies, in fact. And today, those positions are highly demanded. So the master in Sustainable and Innovation Management aim to fill this gap and to prepare the students for a career, to accompany the company in their transformation. We were speaking about digital transformation a few years ago, going 2.0, 20 years ago. Today, we have to go green and not greenwashing. So that means that we need real people, well-trained, that know where to go. And switching, in the right way, in sustainable and innovation management for a company is the equivalent of creating values as well. So it is very important. We have an MBA which is ranked and accredited. For the Master in Business Administration, we have to join the master. Usually, you need to have 3 to 5 years of working experience at a managerial position. So normally, the students that are in our MBA are older. Average age is 30, 32, if I'm not mistaken. So this is not really a program direct accessibility for the bachelor students. Usually, the bachelor that goes the MBA are bachelor that enter the bachelor maybe after having worked, but usually they are executive that are currently working and would like to go above their ceiling glass or switch career. So the MBA is here to help them for that. And we have the last 3 years of studies, which are the DBA. DBA, which is Doctorate of Business Administration, is an executive degree as well. We have here, professionals that are working and would like to know a bit more, and develop problematic they found there in their professional life or in their sector, in the industry, and become expert on it by working deeply during 3 years in this particular, sector, doing research on that. So these are the overall picture of the programs. Emmanuel?
Concerning specialties, Patrice, we have one question linked to this. What concretely is the luxury specialty about in the bachelor, in the 3rd year, and in the master eventually afterwards?
So the idea in the bachelor is to open the window of the luxury. So to have the students discover if they like this sector and they would like to work in the sector. So it is constructed around classes in 5 in the 3rd year, plus an internship on the 3rd year. The first class, as an example, we have it's the luxury overview through Monaco luxury businesses. The idea is that we will cover, the luxury services and the company that exist today in the world, so the different sector, by, welcoming the company that are, operating in this sector in Monaco, understanding their job, what they do for the clients, and then that shapes a bit the, let's say, introduction of what is luxury management, hospitality, yachting, real estate. So a lot of different sectors are present here in Monaco, and that's what we do. The second one will be retail and fashion. So we are going to work on merchandising, understanding the fashion industry, and the retailing, how to manage a business. And that's at the bachelor level. And the third one is digital luxury. So it's digital marketing applied to the luxury market. So how CRM, so customer relationship management system, so let's say digital connection to potential client is organized for the luxury sector. It's not exactly the same way of doing than for a mass market.
Thank you, Patrice. Do we have online lessons? Not for the bachelor.
No, we don't have online lesson. We have on each lesson, an online platform to put all the documents, but there is a component of asynchronous learning. That means that for each class, students have a part of the class which represent between 15 and 20% of the content to learn in autonomy. The idea is that you guys, will have to, during your life, learn all the time. That's the concept, and we are convinced about that. This concept is called lifelong learning. And in order to try to, prepare you a bit better for this concept in the future, learning on your own, preparing yourself, doing online quizzes, there is a little percentage of each course organized around what we call asynchronous sessions. So it's not a lot, but it's to have you to develop the autonomy and the willingness to learn on your own. Rima, maybe you can mention a few things about this asynchronous session that we put in place a few years ago now. So you experienced.
Yes, sure. For example, our teachers and professors, they give you particular time. And during this time, it can be like 1 week or even 1 month. You need to complete your homework. You need to complete your asynchronous task. And it is good because you can spend lots of time exploring and finding some solutions. You can gain deep knowledge about this particular subject. And also, we have asynchronous with teamworks asynchronous tasks. And it is also good because it helps you to develop your team building skills, to communicate with each other, to discuss different perspectives. So online platform is really good idea, and it helps nowadays students to be more even friendly and to leave comments. So it's really good.
Thank you, Rima. There is one class, so maybe I mistaken. Sorry. There is one class which is an online class, but it's specific. It was developed by Omnes Group, and it's a course which is delivered for the different schools on the group. And the idea is that the project should be shared between students and Tericol. So that means that some students from IUM will work with. Sorry, Rima?
You mean shift program?
It is shift program.
Yeah, I can tell something. It's really an interesting program. And during your first year and second year, you will have opportunity to work with students from other campuses. For example, I've been working with students from Paris, which was really interesting. And now there is an approach on this program to spend lots of time discovering artificial intelligence features and business sector. We were discussing what innovations, disruptions many business sectors use, like Carrefour in retail sector and Monoprix. So it's really interesting.
Yes, and the challenge is to have students working remotely with other people they don't know from other culture, even academic culture, because studying in France or in Spain is not exactly the same as studying in IUM. So and that's a good challenge, and that prepares as well, people to work in a global, economy with an international team, with people, one in America, one in China, whatever. So it's good to prepare students working in that framework. Yes. So that's the only online class we have, in fact.
Okay, thank you, Patrice. The other questions, we will answer them later concerning admissions, English level, visa, etc. So we can continue.
So we are going to dig now into the 3 years bachelor program. The bachelor takes students directly after high school. So we have an intake in September and we have an intake in January. As already mentioned, you see the bachelor is 90 US credits, equivalent to 180 ECTS credits, but we have as well an honors track, which is 120 US credits. This is the 4-year degree bachelor delivered in America, in fact. So that will open door direct access to master in America. It's important that you understand this honors track. It's a 4-year degree, but we will deliver it in 3 years. For students that have very good average, they will be able to join the honors track for their 2nd year. We will have additional classes, and then they will have over the last 2 years, let's say, the equivalent of 30 additional credits. So, of course, there is a selection to join the honors track, but in the end, you save time and you save a lot of money, in fact, as well. For the 1st year, you can start as well your bachelor degree in January. For the students that maybe would like to have a little gap between the end of high school and beginning of the university. But usually we have as well students that started something somewhere and maybe would like to switch rapidly because they don't like what they started. And that's why we have as well this January intake. Usually, in fact, the origin of this January intake is for students from the other hemisphere. We usually welcome students from Australia, New Zealand, South Africa in this January intake because for them it's the natural period for university start because they finish their high school in December. Summer is time, summertime there. So that's the January intake. You can see that we have internships possible every summer, and the big compulsory internship is at the end of the 3rd year. In terms of specializations, we mentioned them. They are in line with what we are used to see in the master, the global business. We have a communication and event one, luxury sales and services, and hospitality and tourism, the sport management, the finance. With 2 tracks in finance, we have an apprenticeship track as well for the finance in 3rd year, where students work in bank and study 2 days a week at IUM. And we have a track about digital business development. So this is another very specific one where we will try to have business students, but prepared for the digital world and working startup with engineers and being able to speak their languages to manage projects or to manage company, but linked to the tech. That's all the digital transformation. So it's quite interesting, this one. In terms of structure, in fact, whether you will start in September or in January, of course, it will be a bit more intense, but everybody will finish in summer and everybody will start their 2nd year in September. The theme boarded during the 1st year are, of course, the foundation, the route, for the business studies in general, including business management, marketing, finance, and accounting. We have IT, we have communication, which is very important, and we have quantitative subjects. And finally, we have ethics and critical thinking. There is a module specific for experiential educations. We have a career services department here at IUM. I'm going to mention what they do a bit later in this presentation, but they are doing a lot, business weeks, conferences, competitions, and this is grouped into this experiential education. For the second year, yeah, Emmanuel, yes.
We have a question concerning the January intake. It's not really clear from Gaben. So if you join the September intake, no, you won't join the January group, or the opposite. It's two different groups.
Exactly. So the September intake will do their classes. So you see, basically, there is 10 classes from September to July, to April, maybe. And then the January intake will have the exact same class, but not on the same pace, starting early January and finishing in July. There will be some common element, like the business week, it will be together. There will be a business competition. It will be together. When they go to conferences, it will be together. But the course and the rhythm of the course, they are separated. But everybody will be together in summer to start their second year all together.
So this would be available for 2025 because the January 2024 intake is still the old system, if we can say.
Yes, of course.
It's not
this is for September 2024. Yes.
So starting January 2025, you will have a fast track and start in the second year in September 2025 with the September intake 2024, if you follow me. And question, Patrice, interesting. From where do the professors come? It's almost as diversified as the students, I think.
Yeah. It's exactly that. Maybe Rima can answer this question directly, because she interacts with the professor directly. Yes, there are international professors. Rima?
Yes, sorry, what was the question? I just lost.
So from where does the professor come from?
Oh, from very different countries. We have a professor, for example, Kajaiba, who is from Brazil, and he's teaching sustainable business. We have many French teachers. We have professors from the United Kingdom, from Ireland, from very different cultures. Even we have from Belarus. And it's really interesting experience because even in IUM you can study different languages, and so you can communicate in Italian with teachers because we have also Italian teachers, and yes, that's very good.
Yeah, so the faculty is as international as the student population, with the size, of course, which is smaller, but
at the university you can speak in all kind of languages because many professors, they know several languages except English and French.
Yeah, of course. We try not to speak in French, but we're happy trying, new languages.
Yes, and if, for example, you want to learn any language, IUM provides you an opportunity to learn Italian, French, Chinese, Russian.
Yes, this is the second language. And of course, French is the second language, which is the most demanded at IUM. Because
and most popular.
Yeah.
And actually, what I like that they are different. For example, if you have A level or you have no experience in French, there are different groups. So it will be interesting for you to learn this language.
Well, or even a bit needed, to be honest, because at IUM, no problem, you don't have to speak French at all. But in Monaco, no problem neither, because it's very international, so you can survive in English. But as soon as you cross the border and you spend some time in France, it's harder to speak in English with people here.
Yes, it's a little bit complicated without French knowledge in France, I mean.
Do agree. Emmanuel?
We are good for the moment. I think we can continue.
So that was the first year, okay? So at IUM, foundational courses, we developed the route with the theoretical framework needed to go to business studies. You can start in September or in January, but in all the case, everybody will converge for, the second year all together. What is occurring during this second year? In fact, the second year is organized around an international experience. We will have the possibility to go study abroad for 1 or 2 terms. You see, these are the destinations we propose. We have partner university all around the world, and in Europe we have partner university, but mostly we have our Omnes Group campuses in London, in Paris, in Geneva, in Geneva, and in Munich. So this is IUM compatible. So your IUM card opens the door, and you can print and you can log in with your login there. It works. So this is our campuses where we can send our students. All partner universities are AACSB accredited. All the classes there are delivered in English, beside Buenos Aires. And in Quebec, there is a new one where, in fact, in Quebec, they want to teach in French. So in Quebec, French is needed. In Buenos Aires, Spanish is needed, but everywhere else, it's in English, and it's ACSB accredited as well. So you can spend, so these are the name of the university. They are on our website if you want to go a bit more in detail on it. And you can decide to spend the entire second year abroad. You will start with the 1 term in one of our Omnes campuses, because then we define a bit the class that we need, knowing that you will go abroad in a partner university where you can do the class you would like. You choose them, of course, accordingly to the prerequisite and with our approbation. So we need to, of course, work on the course selection together. But there is university that proposes some specialty that we don't have, and then some specialized classes that could be as interest for you. In that case, you go to Omnes campus before, so we will do some functional knowledge classes that we would like you to have during your second year. There is the second possibility. So it's the standard BBA2. You go abroad in fall, wherever you want, in one of our Omnes campuses or in one of our partner, and you come back in January. And you do, the classes here, around themes that are visible here on the bottom right of the slide. Okay.
Yeah, Patrice, we have questions concerning the tracks which you mentioned earlier. So can you choose tracks? So as Patrice said, in the first year, it will really be core courses, maybe with electives in March, we will see. But then you will have the possibility to choose your track, so marketing, business, or digital in the second year. Digital for the moment, and in the third year you will really dive even more, so luxury, finance, sport, business, communication, etc. And first year it's really core courses. This is how it works. Thank you.
Yeah. So the first year is wide. The idea is to have the wide panel of what exists in the business world, to be able to try to let's say, see what you like and what you dislike. That's why the internships are important, and slowly you will go to the specialty by having experiences through the internship, by understanding what are the class you like the most. We will ask you to choose the specialty in the first year, and in the second year you have this foundational course which are linked to the specialty, as mentioned Emmanuel, and then in the third year you will have really specialized classes to the specialty.
For example, Rima, which track are you attracted to? Do you know already?
Yes, I already know. I will choose global business management because I think it's relevant if you want to work not only in Monaco, but all over the world, across the world. It provides you different perspectives and opportunities in future careers. So our IUM's global business management track is really high in demand, and I know that also the program director of global business management is also in charge of sports management, so she has a really perfect knowledge in these tracks, and I think that my future career will be succeed with this track.
Thank you, Rima. So yes, so for RIMA, it's starting next year. Next term, RIMA is going abroad, I imagine, for an exchange term. And when she comes back in September, she will have the specialization to choose. So it is like that. So a specificity before we go through the specialization is that you can join IUM after an associate degree. So if you decided to do an IUT, BTS, or an associate degree in international environment, you can join for the third year specialization, organized around one term in IUM in fall, and then in spring, the big internship. So this is an overview, the summary of all the 3 years. I think it's clear now. We repeated it several times. You have an option to choose for your second year if you go abroad 1 year or not. You have a specialization to choose for your third year. And slowly, according to the specialization you choose, you have specific classes in second year and in third year. So that's where we are. And of course, we have this third year apprenticeship program. I mentioned it at the beginning in Banque, Monaco banking and financial services. So the third year could be as well organized in a 1 full year of work experience, 3 days in the bank, 2 days at IUM. In the end, you have the BBA program as well, but with another specialization called financial services, Monaco banking and financial services. A little word about what is occurring outside class, because in fact, the pedagogy and the academic, which is occurring in class, is only part of the learning experience. The learning experience is as well organized outside the class, which is very, very important. There is, the career services department. It's one of the important department for your experience outside class. We have coaches for individual career counseling. They organize seminars. They organize, individual meeting to define the CV, the goal objective, the LinkedIn strategy, to prepare for interview as well. We have all networking events, usually organized around the specialty. We have a luxury cocktail, for example, or luxury conferences. These are networking events where we will have our students going. We will have our alumni as well going, students, master and bachelor, mixed. And we will have as well, so the professionals coming for this networking event. And then everybody, there may be a talk, a discussion, a presentation, a theme, something, to have an excuse to bring them together. But usually we have, a nice event with an happening in the evening in order to have the students, learning to network, in the right way. So that's organized by the career services department. You saw that there is a lot of different internship opportunity, 2 summer internship that are optional, and the third internship that is compulsory. If we want to go a bit further, there is a bridge internship between the bachelor and the master possible, and the compulsory internship after the master. So they are in charge of the 5 internship opportunity throughout the let's say the master and bachelor studies, which includes, a weekly internship offer, emailing, career days where they bring companies in the university. So we have specific week, with recruitment process done in the business school, with company coming to share a bit their problems or what they are willing to, what they are looking for, the specificity of their industry to our students. But on the same time, they are explaining what they are in need of in terms of HR recruitment. And then, so it's quite common. We have, Ferrari that comes, LVMH that comes. But sometimes Ferrari comes to speak to our finance students because, of course, they have as well, a finance department, and they have to manage their asset as every other companies. So it's not because it's Ferrari that they don't need financial people. That's an example. Or banks that are looking for luxury marketing people. So this is what they organize. So with a lot of event, and it's a lot of learning activity, which is outside the class, but it is very important as well. Rima, did you have the opportunity maybe to interact in those events, career services events like the business days, the bachelor talent days, and the networking cocktails we had?
Yes, we had different networking cocktails, and during my first year in Bachelor and during this semester, it's quite an interesting experience because people who are graduated from IUM who succeeded in their careers, they come and share their experience, they talk to you, give advice, and it's very good if you want to gain some knowledge and be informed about specific fields in Monaco, business sectors, because our alumni are representing different luxury companies in Monaco, so you can have an understanding what your future career can be like. And also we have different IUM clubs like IUM Art Club, IUM Sport Club, like football, volleyball. And also we have different events regarding to arts. For example, we visit different art galleries in Monaco, communicate with collectionists of art pieces. And it's really good and interesting also because you understand since the beginning that IUM is a real family that helps you in your future career, your future job, your networking relations, and etc.
Thank you, Rima. This is some example of the company that came in the last event we had. You see, we have locals company, but and as well international group, and fitting the different industry. We are targeting with our specialties as well. Rima started mentioning the student association. This is another activity and the outside class learning experience. The sport, yes, and the societies are here, built by the students for the students. Really successful with a lot of events on one side, the sports, it's sport activities, maybe some internal competition, maybe some international competition as well. We had the chance with the karting club to, win the French championship of go-kart. And we have students participating in sailing event, with the Monaco Yacht Club. So these are, very, very interesting, sport activities. Societies, it's linked to academic and to professional. These are students organizing conference, guest lecture, inviting professionals to IUM to, as guest speaker, to organize roundtables, discussions, conference. But it is organized by the students to the students. Usually when they have a guest speaker coming in the evening, for example, for the Finance Society, they invite as well professional of, the sector in the region. So it's quite high level. And when a student invite a banker, for example, at IUM, it's good because if they are looking for a job later on, he knows already a bit the bankers, and they interacted in another context, which is good for the penetrating the market. Travel and cultures, you mentioned the art as well. There is ski trips, there is visiting some cities around Europe, which is good. We have special price as well with the ballet and the opera, and we have charity organized by the students as well, doing a humanitarian project, whether it's fundraising or really concrete things like the food distribution. It's really concrete, helping people, locally, or raising money for international project as well. That was all on my part. Emmanuel, I give you the floor.
Yeah, thank you, Patrice. Before diving into the admission process, we just have a few questions about the programs. Concerning the specialties again, you can't choose more than one track, Patrice, in the bachelor.
Exactly. No, you have to choose only one specialty, and we will go towards the end of the specialty, and we will advise you to start, doing some internship in the field to really know if you like your specialty. In the end, you have a BBA, you can do whatever master you want, but you can, already have an idea about the sector you would like to penetrate.
But as we said, in the first year and even a bit in the second year, you will still have core courses. So
Yeah. 100% of the courses are core courses in the first year, and in the second year, well, it depends on your exchange period. If you do 1 year or 1 year, but if you do, 1 term, you will have 80% of your core courses, and in the third year, there is 80% of special courses, specialization courses, and only 20% of core courses. The core courses of the third year are linked to strategy and business simulation, but all the core other classes are specific to each specializations.
Yes, thank you, Patrice. Interesting questions concerning the fast track in January, which we remind will be starting in January 2025. For January 2024, it's still 1 year, 1 year, 1 year. So January 2025, yes, it will be more intense, Patrice, to catch up, to be ready for September.
Yeah, this is that's why we will call it the intensive, intake, January intake. So we will have the same classes, but packed from January to July. It's a bit shorter than from September to April. From September to April, we will have a bit more time, but from January to July, it will be quite intensive. So it won't be impossible, of course, but the rhythm will be a bit high.
For example, do you have an idea of the number of hours per week, approximately?
Oh, the number of hours per week for the September intake will be 18, because there is 9 classes in class, like the theme we presented, and this experiential learning module, which is built around events, career services, and other things. So 9 classes, 2 hours per week, 18 hours per week for the September intake. And for the January intake, we try to do exactly the same. The only thing is that there will be less time, for the reading days, less holidays. We don't have the Christmas break in the middle, for example. So we still have the winter break, of course, but let's say it will be more intense. But we will try to stick to this 18 hours per week as well. But it's the rhythm that is a bit more intense from January to July.
Okay. Yeah, for the other questions, we will talk about it now. Students, visas, housing, etc. So let's dive a bit into the admission process. The good news is that it's really a simple and intuitive process. It's directly on our website, so International University of Monaco or www.monaco.edu. You do apply online, you will see it in big. No, general platform like Parcoursup for the French people or other platforms in other countries. It's really on the website. So it will be well explained. You join the required documents, which are your high school transcript of the last 2 years. For example, I guess most of you are currently in their last year of high school. So in this case, of course, you can join the diploma or last transcript. So you join the 10th and 11th grade transcript, for example, and you will join the rest afterwards because we must base on something. Apart from the transcript, you must send a motivational letter to explain why you want to join us, your motivations, of course, and then classic documents, eventually a CV and a passport, ID picture, nothing original. Once we have everything, and only once we have everything, you will have an online motivational interview 1 week later. And then again, 1 week later, the jury will make a decision based on both your interview performance and your grades, your academic results. Do you have to send an English test? No, it's not compulsory. If you want to send one, you need to have a B2 level minimum at this test. So in this case, we only accept Cambridge, TOEFL, or IELTS. B2 level equivalent, otherwise it's useless to send it. If you don't send one, you will have the motivational interview, as usual, for half an hour. And you will also have 15 more minutes of English interview. So the motivational interview is already in English, but you will have an English teacher for 15 more minutes to see your English level. And in this case, you will have to validate the equivalent of B2 level. So nothing dramatic if you don't send an English test. During this interview, of course, as we said, your motivation, why you want to join us. Do you have already ideas of careers, even if you're young, some projects, ideas, your personality, what can you bring to IUM? Sometimes we have people who do sports, people, who can create some companies, all kind of people, can be interesting, and your goals, general knowledge. And yes, so 1 week after this interview, answer of the jury. So the process can take 3 weeks in total, pretty quick if you are reactive and doing everything. So of course we have coming events. We will have other webinars, like the one today, once per month generally. So you will see one in January, February, etc. You need to register on the website. Interesting, we have physical open days. If you want to come physically to IUM, to meet Patrice and his presentation, to meet Rima, to ask questions about everything, we will have the next one on February the 3rd, 2024. And April the 6th. So here at IUM, either a morning session from 10 to 12 a.m., either an afternoon session from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. So you will see them appear on our websites in the events. You will have to register. Now it's a bit early, so you're not seeing them. It's normal, but you will see them soon. The price, because we have one question. So for the first year, it's 13,950 euros. And for the second and third year, it will be 14,250 euros, which is on average 14,150 euros per year for the 3 years. And of course, you can follow us on the social medias, Facebook, Instagram, X, or LinkedIn. You'll see interesting posts of students, staff, teachers. You can ask your questions on these social medias. So it can be always interesting. Don't hesitate.
Thank you very much. We are reaching the end of this presentation, so maybe we will have additional questions because it's a question and answer session. Emmanuel, do we have some specific new questions?
Yes, if you graduate from an IB program, of course, you are exempt from the English test because you already studied in English. So there are 3 conditions when you are exempt from the English test. In all cases, is not compulsory, but you won't have an English interview of 15 minutes or to send an English test if you studied in English, if you are English, American, Australian, obviously, or if you have if you send an English test, of course. So yeah, for the IB, you are exempt. SAT, we don't base our decision on this. We need really transcript, physical transcript. No, SAT, you can send it in addition, but this is not enough by itself. Motivational letter, as I explained, you will send it directly on the website. It will be asked. You will see motivational letter, you send it, transcript, passport, etc. So concerning housing, we have a student service once you are accepted, which can help you. They won't find it for you, but they can give you some good agencies, websites, recommendations. We have one student residence, which is in Beausoleil, but it gets full very quickly, so not a lot of space. So they can, of course, advise you for everything, and then you'll have to make the final step to find your apartment, for example.
I may maybe jump into for the housing, because we have a slide about it. It's important. It's a rich subject for students that are commuting and relocating to the region. 90% of our students are living in France. In fact, the closest location are the cities which are surrounding Monaco. They are called Beausoleil, Cap d'Aille, and Roquebrune. Students may live as well a bit further in Menton and Nice, and they can take the train to commute to Monaco. We are really at the exit of the station, so that's really close. If you take the train, it's not a big deal at all. In terms of accommodations, when you will apply to IUM, once you accept it, you will receive a contact from our student services department, and you will be enrolled to those platforms, Studapart particularly, in order to start getting in touch with owners. There is a second market around Monaco of one room bedroom or apartment to co-share with students, because students are here for 3 years, or for the master students they are even here only for 1 year. So every year there is a new students living and coming, and then there is a kind of second market of apartments available through these platforms for students that needs to find an apartment. Usually, students leaving, they tell the other students, yes, I just finished. This is the telephone number of my owner if you want to take the apartment, and so on. So it's just, I understand that finding an apartment it is stressful, but we are more or less organized around it.
Yes, absolutely. So once you get accepted and registered officially to the bachelor, you will be joined basically to a WhatsApp group with all the current accepted students. So you can exchange. For example, if one leaves an apartment, he can tell you. So this can help absolutely. What is the acceptance rate? So this is quite difficult to answer because there are many candidacies from the beginning. Let's say if the grades are okay for us, the files are okay for us, and the person is admitted to the interview, which is the second step. Once they have the interview, I would say maybe 70, 65%, Patrice. But before this, before the file, it's more 40%. We have to make
So
decisions.
yeah, throughout all the people that applies, let's say we will select 50, 40% of those people because they don't go to the end of the application, for example, or they are not eligible, but they are not aware of it. And then once we have the interview and we go to the jury, really, and those that are really in the loop, it is around 65, 70% acceptance rate.
Yeah, so concerning housing, so it's not included in the price. The price is really for the pedagogy, networking, is everything. But for the housing, you will have to pay your proper rent. So to give you an idea, the interest of living in France can be that you are just next to IUM. So Beausoleil Cap d'Aille, for example, you can go on foot, 10, 15 minutes. Menton and Nice, like Patrice said, 15, 20 minutes of train. The membership is not expensive. You are paid back normally by the university. We are just next to the train station, and it's around 800 euros per month on average in those French cities for a nice little apartment. In Monaco, of course, it will be more expensive, maybe 3K per month minimum, depending, of course, on the flat.
Monaco, it's not really the destination where students live. There is no advantages for students to live in Monaco.
Yeah, except, of course, it's the most secured country in the world. All this, very nice to live. But it's true that if you are not far and you pay 5 times less, it can be a bit interesting.
Do we have additional questions, Emmanuel?
Yeah, absolutely. We have
Great.
other questions arriving. Up. Yes, if you get refused, you can totally apply again next year, except if you made a very, very bad impression, but this is rare. Yeah, of course, you can improve. Sometimes it's the English, sometimes it's your general performance, sometimes it's the grades. In this case, it's a bit more delicate because your grades will follow you all your life, but maybe you can take additional courses, start the last year again. I don't know. Can you apply to the January 2024 intake? Yes, now it's a bit short, but it's still possible to apply. You must be quick and efficient on the website, send all the documents so we can prepare the interview and then the jury, because the intake for 2024 in January will be on the 15th for the orientation week and 22nd, beginning of the lessons. So yes, if you manage for visa, housing, everything, it's possible to apply now. Patrice, someone tells if you can show again the map, I guess, for the housing.
Traveling for your second year. Definitely yes. So this is the map of our 28 partners over 19 different countries by head. I'm not sure about that exactly, but this is what I had in mind. So the partner university usually reserve 2 seats per term to our students, so it's 4 seats per year, and we have something like 23 or 24. And then we have our campuses, which are London, Paris, Barcelona, Munich, Geneva. There we can send, group of students. So it's like if it was a class that we open in London. So therefore we will create a class of 20 students, 25 students there. They can be, it depends on the number, but they can be mixed with other students of the campus or not. It depends on the volume we send. In fact, so you see all the partners. This is the map, and these are the names. But this is available on the website of IUM, and it's an evolving because we are signing new partnership very regularly because this number is increasing. Since we switched to ACSB accreditation, we had to be partner with ACSB accredited partners. So then we partner with them now. It's an increasing list.
Yes, thank you, Patrice. Concerning the visa, of course, it's important. What is the timeline? It really depends on your country, your institution. You must go because most students live in France, and this depends on the visa you demand. If you want to live in France, like most students, you will have to ask for a French long stay visa. If you want to live in Monaco, it will be a Monegasque long stay visa, but both have to be asked to the French embassy or consulate of your country in both cases. So you go to this consulate, and then the time, it really depends. Sometimes it's a few weeks, sometimes it's in the worst case 6 months. So that's the interest also to apply quite in advance. If you come from far, the time to find the housing, the time to receive your visa. Sometimes you can have bad surprises, not all the time, but sometimes. So yes, it's important to take
Just
in account.
one word about the visa. If I remember well, Emmanuel, and tell me if it's wrong, but you should not go through Campus France because
Absolutely
Campus
not.
France works only for institutions in France, and we are in Monaco. So if you start the process through Campus France, it's the wrong road. So it won't work. So remember something, it's not Campus France.
Yeah, absolutely, Patrice. Just go to the online site of your embassy of your country, then go there to register, and this is the best path. Can I try again next year if I get accepted? Yes, you can try again, as we said, and then we give you the answer normally. If not, you can tell us again, but normally, of course, we do our best to give the answer quickly for an acceptation, or sometimes when the candidate is refused.
So if you apply again after have been refused, you need to add information on the application file because otherwise the answer will be exactly the same. So you should explain maybe why you've been refused, because we will tell you some explanation, of course, and then you should add in your file something that make us change the decision. So maybe you were sick the day of the interview, that occurs, but or maybe you had a personal issue you did not wanted to share, and that may explain some, middle performance or bad performance during a certain period of your high school. But the reason is, I don't know, you are sportive high level, you have family issue, whatever. But you need to add information, otherwise it's useless.
Yes. Rima, for you, for example, was the admission process quick, like the interview online, etc.? It was quite intuitive.
Yes, it was very quick because, for example, I applied and when I was asking questions, everyone was very responsive and I received response, all answers very soon, immediately, I would say. When I called, everyone was talking, so it was a really good experience, and the admission process is very friendly during your interview. It's kind of conversation like with your relative. I really like this atmosphere that creates IUM because you feel yourself as a part of a big family, and that's very warm and hospital feature and characteristic of IUM.
Thank you, Rima.
For the explanation. Yes, so as I said, you will have the answer 1 week on average after the interview, so quite quickly after. The best time to apply for the September 2024 intake, now is already a good time. We had quite a lot of candidacies, but of course you still have a lot of time. You have until the end of June 2024 to apply. You can apply now. I guess most of you already received their first semester transcript of their last grade. So for example, you can send 11th grade, 10th grade, and first semester of this year. Otherwise, only 10th grade and 11th grade if you apply now. And if you want to apply later, you can send the last transcripts also. So 30th of June 2024, big maximum to apply. So Patrice, would the bachelor program is suitable for career within public relations, more specifically in sports?
Oh, yeah, but yes, you need to do the sport management track. There is 3 pillars in the sport management: the governance, the marketing and event management, and then the equipment maker. But so the track marketing and event management. So if you want to be a PR or a manager as well in the sport industry, this is the track you need to choose. Yeah. With some, maybe before you can take some class in communication, but yes, sport management. You penetrate the industry, you will be in contact with the key, say the key company and the key sectors.
Yeah, that's definitely one of our strengths. I saw the biggest employers are in various areas of sport. It can be clubs like Rolex Tennis Master, like Arsenal Football Club. It can be Adidas, sport institutions like Decathlon. So event institutions also. So you have the choice. What grades, sorry, from high school do I require? So it depends from your country, but to give you an idea, for American, Patrice, we like a GPA minimum of 2.5.
Free.
Yeah, 2.5 strict minimum, and we prefer 3.
3
For sure.
GPA out of 4. That's the normal, let's say, a good academic standing that we are looking for. In French, it's mention assez bien, usually. So that's the level we usually, normal level.
Yes, for IB students, we like over 30 points on average. Then, of course, it also depends on your interview performance. You must have your IB diploma for sure with maximum points is better. And for A-levels, we need 3 A-levels minimum with 2B and 1C, the minimum grades, 2B and 1C. Is the luxury specialization highly demanded? Yes, a lot, Patrice.
Yeah. That's why we duplicated. We had a luxury overview for marketing and services, and then we have hospitality as well. So, and tourism. So we split at the bachelor level into 2, and at the master level there are 3 different masters in luxury. It's in line with specificity of the principality. Let's say it's highly demanded. Yes. But everybody that demands it have it. It's not that we refuse people. We organize the groups around it.
Yes, I think it's good concerning the question. I'm checking. It looks good concerning the questions for the moment. If you have last-minute questions, don't hesitate. We are still here. What should I write in the presentation letter? I guess motivational letter. Well, really, as we said, your motivations to join us, also your strengths to present a bit yourself. How can you be a good student at IUM? Are your strengths compatible to be successful at IUM? Ideas of careers, everything that shows that your choice is logic to come here, and that you have some strengths, to be a good student here. Don't know if you want to add something else, Patrice, but it's a motivational letter concretely.
Yeah, we like to know who you are. Yeah, this is what your academic performance can be read in your academic transcript, let's say, basically. So in France, we have more detail. In IB school, we have more details, but in a lot of transcript, we have only grades, but we cannot perceive, the performance. And the performance is good for everybody, the one I see usually. So what is interesting is your leadership skills potentially that could be found in your extracurricular activities, for example, your project, your professional experience, what you did already. So who you are, what you do outside class. Basically, this is something that interests us. It makes the classroom, lively, with all these different profiles, people that very proactive, very involved. This is very engaged. This is very important.
Yes, sorry, concerning the scholarships, we don't have any more for January 24 because we're already in September and we have limited numbers of scholarship at IUM because we try to help, but we are a small institution, so it's a limited number. So no more for this intake. Okay, also other questions still. I have a high school diploma, but also a CEGEP technique program diploma in fashion marketing from Quebec. Should I send both? So the high school diploma for sure, then the CEGEP, Patrice, I don't know if you know about it. I'm not really familiar with this one.
Yeah, we will investigate in detail, but the CEGEP, if I remember well, is the first and second year that is in between the last year of high school and first year of university in France. So we need, the highest level. And normally with Quebec, there is 1 year delay. So normally when you finished, you can enter first year. But send both and we will analyze, apply for the first year, of course. And if we see in your diploma that there is the equivalency of something else, we will tell. But the idea of the admission is to start a discussion. We have the admission team and they are here to advise, the students. So yes, send both, definitely yes. And then we will analyze.
Absolutely. How would you position IUM versus EDEC, Patrice?
Yes, we are competitors, definitely, in the same region as well. Every schools, EDEC and IUM and Schema, if we want to name the three, let's say, big player in the region, they have their own specificity, and then their specificity is linked to their specialties. For example, I won't, name, for the other, but we are in the same league. Monaco is small. That's number one. It's a very specific one, and we are in Monaco with a very rooted, let's say, connection with the professional territory here, with the businesses around, and with the sector we are working in. And same with EDEC, but maybe not in the same sector, maybe not with the same companies. We have our own DNA, and EDEC has its own DNA and Schema as well. So you should go there, if you feel comfortable in each of the three environment, and you should choose your school according to what you think will suit you the best. So that's a very important one. So go to the open doors, speak with the professors, speak with the students, and try to understand what will match, your profile the best. This is where you will, have the best, 3 years experience. So that's my advice. So yes, we are in the same league. We are competitors. We are ACCS accredited. We are the visa. We have everything. I won't criticize, our competitor. We are competitor, and competition is good in the market. That makes everybody, work harder and do better. So it's good to have competitors around, and but we are all our specific specialties, and the way we do is not exactly the same way. A big machine, let's say, like EDEC will do, and that makes a difference. That for certain students is good, and for other is not good. They prefer being in a bigger environment, being a bit more, hidden in the mass. So that's the specificity. You should really try and see everybody, and then you will have your own idea. Definitely, I'm sure.
Yes, yeah, very complete. For sure, if you like luxury or sport business, I think IUM is pretty apart, even in finance, in some parts, digital. Maybe EDEC has its own specialty, so you must make your own research and depend on what style of life you like said Patrice. How long do I have to give a confident yes when I am accepted? So you normally have 2 weeks to confirm your registration when you get accepted, 2 weeks. Of course, if you have an urgency or some special issues, you can tell us, we are not machines, we can sometimes understand, but normally without legitimate reasons, it's 2 weeks. We need it to be settled, because we have a lot of candidacies and we need to know how many spaces we will have, depending if people who were accepted say yes or no, because we have a limited number of space in each class, like Patrice said, between 40 and 50 students. So the quicker the better, and it's 2 weeks normally. And it's okay for the questions.
Perfect.
Yeah. No, this we answered already. Yes, I think it's okay for now. That's already a lot. Rima, for example, if you could say big words about IUM for you, like this straight away, that stands IUM apart.
Yes, I really like IUM, and I think that it's a great place if you want to study, if you want to have your own time on career, on family, on friends, because here, as Professor Patrice Argenti has mentioned, as Mr. Emmanuel Neri has mentioned, you have time, you have like relaxation, balance between family and study, between friends. So IUM is, I would repeat it again, it's a family, big family, where your professors become your advisors in life, and they can really help you not only in studies but also gives kind of personal advice on if you have some issues. You really can talk to administrative service, to teachers, to students as well, because here is really a very warm atmosphere, and I really like IUM, and I'm sure that after IUM I will have big opportunities in career, big opportunities in networking, and yes, you need to choose IUM because it's a perfect place.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on everyone. It's true that numbers speak by themselves. Sometimes, you must look at numbers. And Patrice, I think it was like 85% of students find a job related to their studies, maximum 6 months after they graduate. For the bachelor, for the master, it's even better, of course.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we had a placement figure at 3 years recently. And in fact, Monaco absorbs 1/3 to 45% of IOM students. They start their career in Monaco. So it's interesting because that means that the market is dynamic here in Monaco. There is a lot of company, 50,000, 5,000, I told you. And then the confidence with IOM students is there. They start working in Monaco. They stay 3-4 years in average, and some settle down, of course, but then after they continue their career abroad. And that's the case for 1/3 of IUM students. In fact, it's a lot.
Yeah, that's pretty a lot when you see the size of Monaco. That's a good insertion rate, but it also means that a lot manage to find straight away after IUM a job in a foreign country. So in both cases, either you want to stay in Monaco or go to a foreign country. As you see, you'll have a lot of opportunities. So this is not a problem at all. Okay, I think we are good. Thanks a lot to Patrice for this detailed presentation, and for Rima for her time. It was very interesting.
Thank you for attending and for all the questions. I hope you had all the answer you wanted. Thank you, Rima. Thank you, Emmanuel.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot to everyone.
Thank you. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.